think everybody would agree the basic function in society is that you're able to go to the shop, that you're able to bring your child to school, walk the roads of the country and the streets without anybody hassling you, without seeing drug dealing, without anybody stabbing you, killing you. You know, that's just the basic function of society. I think everybody can agree with me. When you can't do that, you have failed as a state. The government, the state, and on Garda Síochána, take for example, has failed as a state. And the majority of towns, unfortunately, in this country, particularly in our capital city, where people went in the 1916 rising on O'Connell Street, we have failed because people are terrified to go down O'Connell Street, where people went and sacrificed themselves to make our country free. And in 2024, people are terrified to go down. Irish people are terrified to go down. Even tourists are terrified to go down O'Connell Street. And that raises serious problems for all of society, Irish society. And even in just not even Dublin, in other parts of the country, people are too afraid to go into their local town, their local village. They're too afraid to go out tonight for a walk or a run or anything. And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And I even remember when I was young, even I'm 21 as we speak now. 20 years ago, things wasn't like this. You could let your child out to play one of the fields, play a game of football and stuff. You wouldn't have to worry. But nowadays, you can't let your children go down anywhere at all because they could be killed. And it's the simple fact, things have got extremely dangerous now. And years ago, you didn't have to worry. You could leave all your doors open. You could leave your whole windows open. You could go away for a month. And when you come back, the house will still be there. Everything will be in the house. There'll be nothing to be said. And there was more trust in society years ago. Nowadays, you couldn't trust the people as far as you control the majority of people you meet. And even as Irish people, I'm sure everybody would agree, we give people the benefit of the doubt. That's Irish people. We always give people the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to safety and the safety of our future generations, particularly elderly people too, the most vulnerable in society, we owe it to them, even just only citizens of the country, we owe it to them to make sure that they're safe walking the streets, they're safe going down to the post office to collect their pension, the child is safe going to school in the morning. And if we can't do that, we have failed as a state. And unfortunately, the majority of cases we have, and we have failed, and not the Irish people have failed, it's on Garda Síochána. And all the prisons are full, etc., etc. And we see all the time in the courts, when people do get caught for burglaries, etc., etc., suspended sentences, suspended sentences, suspended sentences, suspended sentences. Nobody's ever going to prison. If you steal a box of mattresses, you go to prison. If you don't pay your TV licence, you go to prison. What sense does that make in a world like this? What sense does that make if you beat somebody to death nearly, that you get a suspended sentence? What in the world is wrong with this country when it comes to that? And if you don't pay your TV license or you rob a bit of bread out of a shop to feed your staff and family in the street, you'll be treated like a mass murderer. But if you go and kill somebody, you nearly get a medal for it in this country. That's the way this country's gone, and it's a very sad state of affairs. Not just for our generation that is living in fear to go down our main streets of our towns and villages. For the next generation, if it's bad now, what is it going to be like in 10 years? What's it going to be like in 20 years? Because back 10 years ago, back 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. It's not acceptable. And guess what? The party that's in government at the moment, one of the parties, Fine Gael, supposed to be the party of law and order. Law and order my fucking hole, if you ask me. Because if that's the party of law and order, and if this is law and order in Ireland, where there's just open drug dealing on main streets in our capital cities, in our towns, in our villages, open drug dealing, open antisocial behaviour, you're terrorising people, then I wouldn't want to see what's the party of law and order if they really are serious. Because if they're the party of law and order, I wouldn't want to see the party of lawlessness, because they might as well call themselves that. And all the prisons are full, as I say. Everything, I don't know what in Irish society has changed, but things have got a lot dangerous, and unfortunately, again, things are not getting better. And and again, the majority of people get suspended sentences, get off with it. They get the slap in the wrist and off you go. And that's about it. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough. We shouldn't accept it. As simple as that. We deserve to be safe. Irish people deserve to be safe. People in the people, elderly people, children, anybody, every citizen in the country, even tourists, deserve to be safe in our city. And it doesn't reflect well on us as Irish people that we allowed this to happen. And there's many ways we can do it. First of all, we reform the justice system in terms of, what I mean by that is, compared to, say, somebody robbing a box of matches in the shop, take for example, the robs up a few things in the shop, a few items, etc., etc. They go on to they go into prison and they do courses, etc., etc., to get educated, they get degrees, etc., etc., so they don't go back into crime. Or we do different things to help them. Instead of putting them in prison, we do different things to help them get out of that habit. Get them help, get them counselling, etc., etc. That's what they do in Finland. The majority open prisons, etc., because people can be trusted to behave, etc., etc. And again, when one person commits a crime, they only commit it once in their life, and then it works 98% of the time. The people go and get an education in prison, etc., etc. and they come out a better person, a better society, and that's what we need here in that terms for the stop it before, because again, stealing and thefts, etc., some people can't help themselves, but if we stop it when the forced crime is committed, we can deal with it then. And that's just for petty crimes and stuff. That's just the basic function of society. When you buy something or enter that, or you're selling something in the shop, that it doesn't go missing and nobody takes it. I think that's just the basic function of society. And we need that. And second of all, in terms of crime and stuff like that, we need to stop adding new crimes, like the hate speech bill. Like, if you think it's bad now, imagine the Gardaí having to run around if somebody says boo to somebody online. They'll be running around chasing up online crimes instead of real life crimes. And that's what's happening really at the moment too. The Gardaí are too focused on crimes online, etc., than the basic function of policing on the streets, etc. It's a joke, if you ask me. And always with new legislation, no reforms, just new legislation, more laws, this law, that law, the other law, and they can't even police the laws they have at the moment. And Irish people deserve better. And again, I would say to people to really think about it if you want to vote Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil. The party of law and order, Fine Gael is supposed to, the party of law and order. Because, I don't see law and order really in this country. It's more lawlessness than anything else. It's like the Wild West, to be totally honest. But if you don't pay your TV license or you misgender somebody, God help you, it won't be the Wild West. But that's about it. If you do anything else, you're right, basically, in this country. And it's not right. It's simple as that. It's not right. And again, the majority of people who are in prison, shouldn't probably be in prison. They should be in courses, etc., getting education, or being reformed, or getting them a job, a stable job, and stuff like that. And that's what it should be. Because at the moment in time, it's just, the system's just broken. Again, the judges too are no good. You see Judge Nolan in the High Court takes up every pervert and every paedophile is let off scot-free, suspended sentences, etc. It's a joke. It is a joke. And the judges are the worst people ever, to be told. The Fine Gael, majority of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Fine Gael and Fine Fáil, all of them are in the same pockets of them, to be totally honest. But if you dare say anything to your local TD, you'll be in trouble then. But again, that's the majority of the judges, because we see that in the Golfgate, Supreme Court judges is down with the politicians, of course. Because, of course, why not? That's the Irish system for you. But we do need change, because if it's bad now, what's it going to be like in 10 years? What's it going to be like in 15 years? What's it going to be like in 20 years? And, we owe it to the children of this country that's growing up in the moment. We owe it to them that they be safe, their children will be safe walking the streets. And if we don't start doing something now to really make a difference, then we have no hope for our children to be safe in this country, etc. And it's a sad reality. Again, nobody lets their children out. My generation, it's gone. Where you could leave your children go wild, run around the fields, etc., outside your house and play football or whatever. Nowadays you can't do that, because the football and the child will be gone, to be totally honest. And it's a sad state of affairs when that has happened, because there used to be such trust. We talk about trust another day, but it's such a sad state of affairs when you see that your children can't safely play without something going wrong in this country nowadays. And that reflects terribly on all society. And as Ireland as a whole, because again, we remember in 2004 we were one of the safest countries in the world, in the European Union. Now we're Dublin's one of the most dangerous cities in the European Union. Think about that. And it's powers, there's bigger cities, London, etc., and Dublin's nearly one of the most dangerous. So, let me know what you think.